for a change?
I am talking to you.
Then get ready to explore the quantum possibilities. It's time to transform that outdated paradigm into something universal and new. Time to uncover the truth hidden beneath the veil of lies. A time to think outside the box as we link to a higher consciousness. Welcome to the awakening. And now the hosts of Broadcast Team Alpha, Nori Love and Augie Nost.
Well, hello, conjunction celebrators. How are you? It is so good to be with you tonight during this auspicious time. Welcome to the age of Aquarius. How cool is that? And it's Tuesday night, and I'm so happy you're here. And I'm so grateful for all the love and the prayers, and really grateful for the PayPals, and just so grateful that you're here with us again tonight, whether you're here with us live or in the archives on the replay. And there's so much going on, and I'm just really excited for our guest tonight, and it's a really special guest. And I could, say a lot of stuff to fill the airwaves, but I really want to get to the important stuff and get to our guest. So, Augie, let's hear it.
Yeah, this is a very special guest. I'll tell you, in the world of the psychics, she's a very well-known person. She is a long-time psychic consultant, a writer, a treasure hunter, and she has worked with police to find missing people 15, 20 times that she found them. And, it's kind of like when everything else fails, they call her. And then she helped them find that person, and then they take all the credit, because God knows they can't tell, the people that they had a psychic to help them. That is something that just doesn't happen in the police world. Anyway, she also finds missing objects, buried treasures, and gives readings to people that feel they need some. And she has found gold mines, oil wells, underground tunnels, treasures, stolen or lost items, and predict the future very accurately because she sees it. And she has had several near-death experiences, which probably help her to bring out her abilities so she could be as accurate as she is. And let's hear from Ginette. Welcome to the show, Ginette.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right.
You're making me sound like I walk on water.
You do. Welcome, Ginette.
I walk on water every time it rains when I walk outside, so I'm not.
There you go.
So, Ginette, what came first, your gifts, or the experiences and your gifts, or excuse me, or did your NDEs contribute to your gifts or change them in any way?
Well, just in case you didn't know, my father's very famous in the paranormal field.
I did.
You're both probably familiar with the word dowsing, and
yes.
People go around. Okay, so he was a famous dowser in the early 60s, and the government heard that he used dowsing for his land surveying work to find pipes, and then he found out about locating water wells, and he thought, why can't we use this for locating booby traps and bombs for Vietnam? Wow. So he videotaped, 16 millimeter taped, filmed the work. And when officials or agencies saw it, because I was living 10 or 15 minutes from D.C., they were so impressed. They came to our house in Falls Church, Virginia, and the chief of staff and some of the other special agencies, and I really don't remember which ones, but they were there seeing a demonstration on my father using the pendulum and the L rod to locate water under the ground. And my dad said, look, you can really do this. And the Marines didn't quite get it. So then my brother came out, and he was, I think, 12, I don't know, young, elementary school. And when they saw my brother do it, they thought, okay, now I get it. Because it is a concept that's sort of weird. and it's sort of magnetized. You can sort of feel it. I mean, for those people out there that have a healing talent, you can feel heat when somebody's sick, or you can feel cold when you can put a protocol in place, and you can tell all these different details. At any rate, when I was there, I was a little jealous of my brother that he got called in the backyard to go help out, and I thought, why can't I go help out? So I ran out there and used the L-rod to find where the creek bed went, because they found a creek bed. They found it, but they had to dig like 2 feet, and there's the creek bed, just like the water. And I said, well, I can do better than that. Let me show you where the creek bed is going to perk up. In other words, like a little creek bed itself. So in other words, they found the first one, which was underground, and I found the one where it came up. Wow. And so I said, we're going to track it from this point all the way over to 30 feet over, and we dug in the bushes, and boom, there's the creek bed, and boom, here I am, a little kid finding my first dowsing water area. And so I think after that, at that time, that was filmed in the early 60s and hit the Army and all the military newspapers. And then what they did is they had a certain crew or crews learn how to use the technique. And then when they went and got shipped to Vietnam, they would apply it. So I don't know if you two are old enough, but there was a thing called rat tunnelers during the Vietnam War. And they would use, originally the coat hanger or the L-rod was used to find the underground tunnel. And then what happened was they used the same L-rod to find the entrance to the tunnel. And then the guys that were in the military would go into the entrance and go in there and kill a bunch of guys in the tunneling area. And they called them rat tunnelers. Because nobody likes a rat. You get in there and you have to kill everybody, and then you have to do a body count. It was really sad, but this is war. Another thing that was really interesting, and I'm just showing you all the different things you can do with dowsing, and then we'll talk about my talent too. Yes. But I was highly influenced by that. And then when they were out in the field, the military were out in the field, they were walking down the street, and one of the dowsing military servicemen said, "Hey, there's a reaction to the L-rod right here. Let's dig right here." And it was in the middle of the road, in the middle of nowhere. And when they dug, they found this little bamboo stick, and they looked inside of it. And we're talking a bamboo stick, a little bigger than a straw. You know how bamboo is? It's not very big. Some pieces are not very big. So they cut it open, and inside was communication from North Vietnamese to their enemies. And so they would stop the enemy because they would find these little things in the middle of the road. And then the more you get used to these patterns, the more you start seeing a consistency, and your accuracy rate goes way up. Right. So I was highly influenced by that, but I was also highly influenced that my father knew about other famous psychics that worked for the government, not competitively with him, but, they were, pretty much on the same team, Team USA. And one of them was Uri Geller. And I remember reading all these books on Uri Geller and how amazing he was. And I thought, God, that's amazing. I wonder if Uri can do it. Can I do it? So a couple of times I would try different little tricks and stuff. And then down the road, when I was 7, I had a near-death experience. And I don't want to bore you, so I'm going to just cut to the chase.
Please do. Tell us.
Okay, so I got cut in the head really bad. The babysitter put me to bed, and my head was sliced open. So I was bleeding all over the place. And when I was laying there, I thought, God, I'm going to die. This hurts really bad. And I thought I fell asleep, but a man walked in the room, and he said, "I am your real father." Wow. And I said, okay. And of course, after that, within a very short time frame, within 2 years, I started calling my parents Louis and Francis. I didn't call them because and my dad said, "Why are you calling me Louis?" I said, "Well, you're not my real father. My real father came to me when I had the accident." And he said that, "I want to show you who you are and what you've done in the past." And so he took me to Japan, for example, and he said, "You were living in Japan on this high hill," and he showed me the hill in the area. And he said, "You died at age 6 or 7 when you were a little girl, and your grandfather was teaching you, when you died, you were being taught how to count, how to read." Japanese language, and your grandfather is your father in this life. And I said, oh, okay. And so they told me all this other stuff. So, for example, they showed me scenarios or scenes so I could recognize it. And then they also showed me that in another life this is at age 7. And they told me at 7, another father I had was a church missionary, and they gave me a lot of darn details. I mean, I just felt like I knew if I looked it up on the internet, I would recognize it. I knew we were riding donkeys up a hill, and so I knew it was in the mountains, and we were going to the missionary where most of the people there were definitely Chinese. And I knew it was during a wartime, and it felt like either late 1800s or early 1900s. And so I pulled up all the different sites, and I found my hometown in China.
Wow!
And I was like, okay, this is sort of creepy. And I just I kept it to myself because I thought, what are you going to do with this except for maybe write a book about it down the road, and if I get lucky, go to China and tour it eventually. Of course, not right now. But I thought, wow, okay, so those are some of my previous lives. And they also told me I was a female, and this was real interesting. They told me I was a female who was black, very, very tall in Africa. But here's the kicker. It was a bunch of female. I was only with females, and we would either kidnap children or kidnap men to procreate, and then we'd kill them. So it was a black African I don't know the word, team. I don't know. They were not military. We didn't have a lot of clothes on. And I pulled that up and Googled it and found out there was a group of women, and they were just like that. They would kidnap men or babies, and and they would go out and kill their own prey. Like, in other words, if they wanted to kill a cow or whatever, and they cooked their own food, and they did not rely on male dominance for survival. And I thought that was super interesting, because I'm one of those people that is very driven to survive and succeed and achieve, so I thought that was super amazing. So to answer your question, what do I think influences all of us with the brain? And I think one of the issues is the brain is connected with some of us. And I think even healers, like I understand Nori has some healing abilities, and I really think the brain is that tissue is connected, and that's why you're able to perceive. And then you have to create your protocol on how to heal, and then the next, first you have to figure out what's wrong, then you have to figure out the solution, and then you have to figure out which tool, whether it's homeopathic or either your own healing ability from your electrical system. Excuse me. But I really think that we can also be influenced by either, this sounds really goofy and off the wall, some psychics are influenced by alien telepathy.
Of course.
I've heard, some people go, oh, this girl acts schizophrenic. I said, she's not schizophrenic. She's really psychic. Right. And people mislabel people and judge them. And so we have people that are in the Hooskow, whether you want to call it a regular hospital or an institution, and they're not crazy at all. They're just picking up something telepathically. And you've always heard this statement, people say, oh, that storyline is in the air, or that music is in the air. And it's almost like people that are not mentally ill, but semi-imbalanced in different ways. I think they can pick up material very quickly. And then the last thing I want to say is that synesthesia is an item I found out about. And synesthesia is parts and tissues of the brain connected. And there's about 100 different types of synesthesia. Now, I'm not an expert, so I tell people, go look up Maureen Seberg, and she's writing her first book on synesthesia. And I was on the radio show Coast to Coast. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. And I was interviewing, and I got off the phone, and the first caller was Maureen saying, hi, my name's Maureen. Wow. And my last name is Seberg, Seaberg, and I'm writing about synesthesia. Synesthesia is spelled Synestesia, And I said, okay. And she goes, because I always joke and say, yeah, I have a little bit of cray-cray. And she goes, guess what? Your cray-cray is synesthesia.
Wow.
And I said, it's labeled. Oh, my God, that's weird. And it turns out, because when I do psychic work, well, first I want to say synesthesias get together. They get to know each other. They feel like there's a camaraderie. And only like 10% of the world or 8% of the world has synesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting. And there's specialty doctors that know about it. And so Maureen is writing I think this is going to be the Bible for a lot of parents to see that their kids are not freaking crazy. And they're going to be more artistic. They're going to be more music driven. And they can learn what to do with the problematic things they have. For example, I'll just tell you something hilarious. When I jump in the shower, and if I see Kelly Green when I get in the shower,
yes,
I know I'm going to make a bunch of money.
Cool.
As crazy as it sounds, if I'm reading a person and I see certain colors like red, it means she's got to be stopped on this path and go over to the other path. If I see black, it's a transition time. Like right now, I'm thinking about Augie. So Augie's on a transition time, and it turns around in March because I just see this hurricane and it's going to turn around. And he's going to work with this other man. This other man goes, no, no, no. And another man's going to turn his back on Augie. So Augie has to be really careful in March, April, May, June, July, and August with people that I don't want to say he can't count on them, but they're going to fall apart. It's male, but the teamwork is going to fall apart. So I add in not only the vision, but I add in the colors, and I add in the dates, and I add in the names. And then that's what makes synesthesia psychics a lot more accurate. Like Lori might have it and not know it. Augie, I haven't really checked him out, but I'll tell you, Augie is a pretty nice guy. He may have it. And it just, the more you know, the more you're going to say, oh my gosh, I need to read up on this.
Well, thank you.
So, there's so much I want to say. So you see your colors, and so you have to kind of catalog, right?
Right.
You had to have so many experiences before you said, okay, green means this and red means that.
Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
oh yeah. The other day something happened to me, and I'd never seen that color pink before, right before I woke up. And it was a really strange pink. And I almost want to say like a pale pink, but a pretty pink. And I said, well, that's weird. I'll have to pay attention to what happens next, just like a deja vu. And oddly enough, I was getting up and I heard my daughter screaming at the top of her lungs, which she's not, when she's sick or something, she doesn't do that. That's not her normal reaction. And it turns out she hurt her leg so bad, I had to, in 15 minutes, rush her to the ER. So I started paying attention to the pink.
Yes.
And the next time I saw the pink, I saw it on my other daughter, and she came down with COVID.
Wow.
And I'm wondering, okay, so let's put that in the medical category, the pale pink, with an extreme circumstance is going to happen. Wow. And so, like some people say, oh, black means death. Not necessarily. Right. To me, it means one door closes and the next door opens. Like Augie's got some weird doors going on right now. And I also just saw, for example, I saw a chicken just now, which means Augie's going to, it will, you can say it's a baby chick. So that means to me a circumstance is going to grow from beginnings and get bigger, 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 bigger. And that's a project he's working on. It's probably via the radio show. But I also see a pretty color yellow, because growth and yellow go together. And yet at the same time, so it's got a double-edged sword, because yellow is also one of the few colors on the market with a dye that is poisonous. So Augie has to go into these projects, especially if the logo is a chicken, all right? He's got to be careful. He's got to say, okay, it's a double-edged sword. I've got to be aware of this. I hope you're getting all this, Augie. And,
both ears are all wrapped around you.
Yeah. So it's really fun. And then I get dates. Like I see the word opening May 12th for Augie. So I apply all this information, and then people call me back and go, how did you get that date? And I said, I heard it. Or I saw the number 12. And they said, there's no way you could have known. And they'll call me and tell me, I got a job offer on the 12th of May.
Wow.
So all these unusual pieces are details that you really have to pay attention to. So if you are a synesthete, you have to say, show me, I use this term, show me, what I need to know. But I have to use a subject matter, so I'll say career. For example, on you, Nori, I was working on you because we had meant to get together and chit-chat on the phone. And I was thinking, you really, not to be rude, but I'm going to be rude, and I'm going to say you need to get yourself on an ad in a horsey magazine. And the ads are $25, and you will be called to go work on horses for healing.
God, I so want to do that. Yeah,
well, I got to tell you, I did it for a little bit, and I got to tell you, the horsey people are absolutely, most of them, wonderful.
Amazing.
A, they pay the bill. B, they believe in healing. C, you have to figure out what's wrong with the horse, and I can show you how to do that.
Sure.
You buy a book on the circulation of a horse, and it's a book on the organs and everything else. And then I'll have to tell you how to do it because you'll say,
yeah, I'm a nurse, so I get that. We have 3 minutes to the break, and I just wanted to tell you, because you were talking about the brain, of this massive change that has happened in me. And it happened, I got bit by a dog a week ago Saturday, and they were debating whether they were going to take me to the operating room or they were just going to sew me up in the trauma bay. And they gave me ketamine. And I had no idea what ketamine was going to do. And it was actually, like I was seeing things. I was inside balloons with silly putty and, animal skin like lizards, and still was neon pink. I mean, it was like tripping. But when I kind of came out of it after a couple of days, and of course doing my Reiki is like white hot, on fire, so accurate now. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, go ahead and take the break, and then we'll address some of the things you just mentioned.
Yeah,
so let's start back there, and then you got to get yourself in the horsey industry because they'll love you. Yep, and the ads for doing this kind of thing, they're everywhere. They're all over the U.S. Okay, so we'll talk in a minute.
That's amazing.
We have 2 minutes to the break, though, so we got time for a quick other question, and that is, you're talking about horses, but wouldn't this go for animals generally?
It would, and you can use the same pale pink or purple or whatever with the application to animals. When somebody calls me and asks me to locate missing animals, and I normally do really well, I mean, super, super well off of it. I mean, if you had 5 people call me, I find 4 missing animals out of 5. The spring of COVID this past year, it was bad. I mean, I had 4 wrong, and I wasn't really wrong, but I wasn't on the money, which shocked me. And so I don't know if it was the astrology influencing the answers. What I did do was, for example, one case where I was right, I said, he's in a sea area, he's been kidnapped, he's with a man who gave the dog, he stole the dog, he gave the dog to somebody else who was a man, and the man gave it to his wife, and it felt like a present.
We got 20 seconds to the break, so let's do the break now and come on back after the break on the other side.
This is the Broadcast Team Alpha Show, hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. The one show that takes your doubts of the unknown and spins them into reality. Share your thoughts by calling our hotline number at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Call now.
Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio. More cutting-edge conversation and exploration of the quantum universe after this.
This is Dr. Sam Muggsy.
And Kent Dunn of the Quantum Shift Show.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Christmas. That's exactly it. You rascally wabbit you. I'll tell you.
I'm an idiot. You're an idiot.
Y'all happy Yuletide to all you all out there for the Yuletide season.
Come to the coast. We get together, have a few laughs.
Don't forget the new year. Merry Christmas.
Every year, around the world, thousands of golden retrievers are abused, abandoned, and neglected, and they need your help. Goldens Without Borders is a 501c3 not-for-profit company located in the heart of southern Nevada. They focus on golden retrievers in countries where neglect and mistreatment is of the worst imaginable. Even the smallest donations go a long way to saving a life and helping put these beautiful dogs into loving, forever homes. Come be a part of a network of people working hard to make the world a safer and more humane place for all living creatures. To make a donation, or if you're interested in adopting or fostering, please visit goldenswithoutborders.org. Goldens Without Borders, help make a difference today.
Great.
It's great. I think it's great.
The all-new KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Great.
Make a note of it.
It's great.
Are you ready? Ready to go inside the Matrix? Inside the Matrix.
You see, whoever controls technology controls the world.
Then tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, as your host, Jimmy Brent, takes you deep inside the holographic Matrix.
Carefully designed to stimulate the mind.
Come explore a world of topics from technology, archaeology, spirituality, and so much more. Inside the Matrix will liberate you from the manipulated, parasitic entities of consciousness.
You guys ready for this?
It's time to claim your true natures as creative, divine beings inside the Matrix. Hosted by Jimmy Brent.
Who are we talking about?
Jimmy Brent. Live Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Inside the Matrix. Investigating and analyzing the experience of life. 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 Life.
Going live.
Come explore the quantum possibilities. This is Broadcast Team Alpha.
Broadcast Team Alpha.
To be on the show live, call 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio. Share your thoughts of the show on Twitter at KCOR Radio, #KCOR. Or join the cutting edge conversation live in our chat room at KCORradio.com. Now back to Broadcast Team Alpha with your free thinking hosts, Nori Love and Augie Nast.
Well, we are back. It's so exciting. And, I have to do a shout out to the chat room. Do you guys want me to try it psychically? No, you don't. I will miss you all. So I do want to say hello to, I'm scrolling up to the top, guys. Shady D. Hi, Shady. Rob is here. And $1 worth. Hello, my friend. And Gail is here, and Shady D is here again, and who else is here? 5 is here, and JC is here. Hi, JC. Hi, Karen. And sorry, guys, I'm scrolling. I'm working with one eye because of the dog bite. Zaya Raja, I'm not sure that I said that right. Nice to see you. I don't think I've said your name before. Hi. And Parked Cake is here. Naj, hi Naj. And Linda, hi Linda. Haha is here. Yay, haha. And Super Cute is here. Yay. Hope I got you all. And if I didn't, please forgive me. You know that I'm just so happy that you're here with us. So let's continue, guys. This is so exciting.
So do you want to go back to where we were just talking earlier before the break about a particular subject?
Yeah, let's expand on that.
Okay, so I think we were talking about Nori helping out with animals and dogs and cats, that kind of thing on Reiki. And I think that's in her future. But I try to tell everybody, you may have a path of life that is not working. And so if I see a stop sign or a black door, it means change. Go through a brand new door. And if I see a revolving door, it means you're not going anywhere. So it's time for Nori to look around and see where she wants to be. If she wants to do the Reiki for the animals or the healing for the animals, put the ad out there and see what kind of responses you get. Okay. You may have to try different, but I got to tell you, there's regular horses, and for teaching kids how to ride a horse, or there's horse racing horses, totally different breed. So you may want to see where you want to put your ads, but they're all very inexpensive. And if there's anybody out there listening and they want to change their life and they want to get into animals, there are people that take care of the animals and they get paid better than other jobs. So, it may end up being $20 an hour versus, here's your minimum salary of $7 or $8 an hour. So it's a lot more positive financially.
Thank you. I'm so excited. And, it's funny because I always said whenever I advertise, Reiki for people and pets, but I really like the pets part. I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but you can't just say pets. You have to say racehorses.
Right.
You have to to label it very specifically.
I get it. I'm happy. I'm seeing my ad already.
Perfect.
It's already out there.
Hey, while we're talking about this, also when you have people calling you and you give readings for them, do you also see things about health?
I can. So, I don't know. Augie, do you get into the health factor of people and their issues, or you don't?
Well, I've studied natural medicine for many, many years, but I don't really do any of that because I'm not qualified to. Now, Nori is a registered nurse, so she could.
Right. All right. So what I do with a person who's sick is I have them stand up or send me a picture of themselves with a bra and panties on, or if it's a man, have your underwear on, please, no naked pics. And what I do is,
you have to qualify that. Yeah, just saying.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So what I do is I take my hand over the picture and I see if there's any hot spots in the picture. And if there's a hot spot, they're sick there. Or I say, show me how soon they're going to be sick and where they're going to be sick. So, for example, I got a picture from somebody last year, and I said, the heat is in the head area, which can be emotional, but the heat was not that bad. So it was typically emotional. And I said, did somebody die? Somebody important to this girl die? And they go, yeah, her grandmother died. And they were super connected. And I knew I knew of the grandmother. She wasn't the greatest person in the world. And some of these grandmothers twist the grandchildren around their little finger and they manipulate them. And so, of course, your emotions are going to be the worst. So I didn't see illness because the girl's hair was falling out, and I didn't know that. And so I said, what she needs to do is be preoccupied and go into a new hobby or two. And also, if you can, once a week, take her to her grandmother's gravesite and help her learn how to grieve better, or get her to therapy for grieving. And the next thing you know, within 2 weeks, her hair started growing back.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can use the picture to, you can put your hand over it and you get heat bumps, or you can use the dowsing and you take a ruler and you go from the top of the head all the way down to the toes, and you can say, oh, okay, so for example, let's say I react at the knees, and the knees are the beginning of your finances. So I know right away, it's a symbol to me that the person is having financial trouble, or just about to have financial trouble, or it could be a lawsuit, or they're being forced to do work that is not paying them as well. For example, some nurses get paid super well, like $50 an hour, whereas some nurses get paid $15. So change jobs. Don't sit there and complain. Get a solution. Fight it. So regarding healing, I use all sorts of aspects. I also take the picture, put it by my bed, and do what I call dream incubation. And I take the person's name and birth date and town name. So let's say it's Betty Smith. She was born 2/22/01 or something. And then I do who, what, when, where, how. And I said, she lives on 922 Franklin Street in Harvard, Mass. So it's the right Betty Smith. It's the right location. And I go down the list and I say, show me all these things about this woman. And then the next thing you know, the next day or 2 or 3, I start having dreams about the woman. And I'm like, oh, she's got this problem, and this is how you need to resolve it. Boom, you're done. So
interesting.
Yeah. So some of this could be synesthesia. But because, like I said, I tell people, I have a little bit of cray-cray. So but I think to be a psychic, you have to be a little bit cray-cray, right? Everybody, it's hard work. We make it look easy.
You do make it look easy.
Yeah,
I do.
Yes.
Well, I've been doing it for a long time. So I mean, ever since I was a kid. So.
Amazing.
It kind of sounds to me like when you do a reading like this, not all of it comes right away. It could come maybe later on that evening or the next day.
It all varies. If I say, show me everything positive about Augie this year, and I can go into like 10 dates. I say, show me the 10 dates, meaning the month, the year, the date for all the good dates that Augie's going to have. And I call them peak dates, PEAK dates. And it's something really good's going to happen. Like I just got something in October of next year, and I think I get a 1 and a 9. So I think that's the 19th or either the 1st and the 9th. And it could be the 1st, the 9th, and the 19th. And then they just told me I'm hearing the 24th. And it will also have something to do with the letter R. R could be, I don't know what kind of project you're working with, but it could be a person and their name is Robert, all right? When I worked on the Casey Anthony case in Florida.
Wow.
I don't know if you know that,
No.
Lori, that I'm the one who was on the phone with the guy telling him where the body of the little baby was.
Oh.
Could you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, there's really not much to tell. I mean, I basically got a phone call to help find missing people. And during the process, I guess Kaylee Anthony went missing, and they asked me to locate her. And pretty quickly, I said within 2 weeks, she's down the street. She's over here. She's at the abandoned house. She's in the back. I thought she would be closer to the house, but one idiot said, "Oh, she wasn't that close." Oh, really? Yeah. So what happened was I kept telling the PI on the phone, I said, "I see Suburban. She was found on Suburban Street.
Wow.
So a lot of times I feel like saying, I hate to use this word, shut up.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, so that's where we are. A lot of these people are willing to complain, and they don't really know how hard you work on the situation. I'm the one who got mailed a teddy bear in the mail and said, yes, months later, the baby is at the same place that I had told you, I guess, in June. And they didn't do anything. When they were out in the field in October, I'm pretty sure it was October, they did not tell the police and they did not tell the media this is where the body was. Wow. So I was pretty pissed off. So I called the media and I said, the body is over here. He knows it's over here. Why don't you guys go look, take the police with you, and we're done here. I mean, the case can be over with. You can move forward with either prosecution or justice for the baby, but we're done here. The baby's right there. You can find all the evidence, the body. It's not sitting on the curb. You're finding remains. And so that's the general picture of the case. But I've located over 23 missing people, alive and dead, and it is harder than you think. I mean, when I was interested in it when I was a kid, I was very impressed with some psychics that did it. There was Greta Alexander out of, I think, Chicago, and she was utterly amazing. And I thought, gosh, I wouldn't mind trying that and being like that. When I started doing my psychic work as a professional, sort of in a way, I started in intermediate school and high school, and I was getting $20 an hour to do. I would take a deck of cards and throw them on the table, and I would see visions in the deck of cards and tell people answers to their questions. And then I would say, oh, by the way, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And people just, I mean, I had people slap me, hit me, almost strangle me. And it turns out it was correct, but people don't always want to hear what the messenger offers. So you have to be careful what you say. So, that's what I have to say about the good, bad, and ugly of the psychic world.
Yeah. When somebody calls you for a reading, how do you go about that? Is there something that you do right on the phone, or would you like them to send you some information on how is that happening?
The way I work is I basically don't want to know anything about them, so I take their name, their address, their telephone number, and I charge them. So if I'm doing a psychic reading, a basic reading is about $200. If it's Europe, it's about $300. And sometimes I think Canada is $250 because I have to pay surcharges with money and that kind of thing. The phone calls. So that's all for a personal reading. So they'll call me and we book it, and I tell them, give me 2-3 dates, because what happens is, I'm selling my house and moving back toward the DC area. And, so if I have to show my house and I can't do the reading, as I mentioned, give me 2 or 3 more dates and we'll work it out. Most of the time, the readings go very well. Again, sometimes people don't want to hear what I really have to say. They get offended that I say your marriage is not going to work out, or your marriage is going to work out. I've had people call me and say, hey, I want to know if my husband's cheating on me. I heard you laughing, Nori. Oh my God. I just tell people, if he is, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Are you going to complain because he's doing that? I mean, there are some people in a marriage who are never going to stop cheating.
Exactly.
So you'll either accept it or deal with it. I accept it or deal with it. You deal with it in the sense of, I'm going to divorce you and find somebody else, because there is happiness out there for all of us.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not aware of that. Yeah, everybody has a match, 10 of them. I know that everybody's like, oh, they're my soulmate, but for God's sake, there's lots of wonderful people out there.
Well, I mean, if you have to ask that question, there's a problem,
Yeah.
You have to ask if he's cheating or she's cheating. There's already a problem. So
a lot of times it can be insecurity.
Yeah.
Other times it's a knowing that something's wrong. But then some people calling, should I divorce him? I can't tell you what to do. But if he's abusive, absolutely walk away, run.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I had a very abusive boyfriend, and I kept thinking that was normal. And then my brother found out, and he was like, that's not normal.
You're like, what?
I kept thinking, I was like, I thought this is how relationships sort of goes. And he goes, no, that's not normal. So we split up. The guy and I kept seeing each other for a number of years. But then he turned on me and told everybody I was stalking him. And so you look back and say, I made my own problems, and I didn't realize I was making my own problems. So you do have to be careful. If you sidestep to something else, you could step in some mud,
Yes. So talking about creating our own problems, Ginette, so now, of course, this heightened healing that I'm having could also have to do with the energetics that we're in right now, because of the planetary alignment and things like that. Do you think a lot of people are saying that, like with law of attraction, that it's happening really fast now? So if we create our own reality, we're creating, for good or for bad, even more expedited. Do you feel that fastness or the rapidity, the rapidness that things are happening?
I'm going to say yes with what you just said, because there's no point me repeating it. But what I am going to say about you, for example, is this is your path, and God is trying to save the people, to have people save people, or have people save animals. So your path is, we're all soldiers, in my opinion, and we all have a path, and we all have a mission. You just have to find that darn mission, And, honestly, I really find it's important to realize or recognize that he's going to use you as a tool to do all these wonderful things, and you're going to be happy from it.
Yeah.
So, I think the fact that we just flew into the age of Aquarius is really interesting. I mean, I had doors fly open the day before, the day of, and the day after.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, that's weird. And I think Augie, didn't you call me the day after or the day of?
Day of, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it was really fluky. And I thought, and I really loved his voice. I was like, I loved his vernacular. So I was like, oh, something's going on here. This is good. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
For example, tomorrow night I have some ladies I'm not going to be able to work with anymore because my schedule and their schedule is conflicting. But, you have to pick and choose the people that are going to go in the same path you're going in.
True.
So, so Nori, you have to be more selective. And so, okay, you got bitten by a dog. You have to take care of yourself more. And you have to sort of shove off all the things that you want to do because you're going to be focusing more on animals.
Right.
If people need you, the only way they can have you is if they pay you.
I like it. I like that.
Yeah, you're wiping the slate clean and you're starting all over, but you're still doing the same similar thing. But you're showing yourself your more self-worth, but you're also on a mission for God. I hate to say that, but God's got a plan.
Oh no,
and you're part of it.
Don't hate to say that with me. I'm totally with you. Yes.
Absolutely.
But I do think that, like when I was talking to Augie, he goes, I feel like I know you already.
Well, I looked at your picture and I was like, oh yeah, I know her. And I don't know you, but I felt like it. I did.
Yes, and I've heard people say that, and it's really funny because I was talking to Augie and I was like, do I know him? Where do I know him from? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you just have to be around super positive people and push away the push away the yucky.
The density. So I'm just going to throw this out here because it's not about me. I am Aquarius with Aquarius rising. So I feel like that has to have some, some. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing I wanted to ask you about was, in some of my cursory, research, there's some information about you and something about Al Capone. Do you feel like talking about that?
Yeah, I don't want to, waste too much of your time talking about just psychic work, but I'll just tell you what happened to me. And I tell everybody that's listening, if you have a hobby that you love, go dive into groups or events that are involved with your hobby. So what had happened to me was I went to Chicago to a dowsing convention. It wasn't one of the normal groups, but I got there and it was like, I don't know, 3,000 people were there. It was huge. And a guy walked up to me and he goes, my wife and I want to talk to you. We've got some treasure work we want you to do. We've heard all about you. And I thought, how did you hear about me? My father's really famous. He's 2 feet from me. What are you talking about? Mm. And they go, well, we want you to find our treasure. So the next day, they both got a reading. So I got paid for the readings. And then I got paid to locate the treasure. And he said, okay, so if you can imagine, we went into a conference room and he had these plats that were farmland of 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres. I mean, a ton of acreage. I mean, 20,000 acres. And I thought to myself, I'm getting paid and I'm going to feel like an idiot if I don't find this treasure. And so I said, okay, so I had him leave each plat rolled up on the table. And I put my hand on top of the plat. I didn't touch it. It was like a few inches from the plat. And when I went above it, it's just like healing. I felt like pinpricks and lightning bolt hit my fingers and burnt me.
Wow.
It felt like it burned. It was really painful. And wow. So in other words, it was like the 9th one I touched, but I didn't touch it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No physical connection. So I was right above it. And I said, this is your map. This is where the treasure is. And we pulled it out, and he goes, okay, well, here's the story. Ray Nitty, who was Al Capone's capo or right-hand man, had taken a bunch of treasure from the U.S. Mint. Wait a minute, let me go back. So Al Capone may have been there, may not have been there, but he had his guy. He was instrumental in this bank robbery, but it was a bank robbery not with a bank, but with the U.S. Mint.
Wow.
So federal government, okay? And I can't.
Boy.
It had to be an inside job. So when they stole the goodies, they were broken up into parts, and then Ray Nitty took a section and hid it in southern Illinois. And I was thinking, oh my God, there's thousands of dollars out there, so let's see what it is. And so apparently Ray was on this, I don't know, it was like 200,000 acres. It was like crazy numbers. And we laid out the plat, and I put my hand above it. And like, let's say I was in the southwest corner, and all of a sudden I got my hand burnt again. And I said, right here. And he goes, really? And I said, yeah, really, really. And I said, so then I took a pencil and a pen, and I went north and south, east and west. And then I narrowed down an area because I use, women do landmarks to locate stuff, and men use mileage or footage. And that's a fact, okay? And I said, all right, so let's find the landmark that's going to be closest to the treasure. So I picked a street, and I said, I want you to go in like 15 feet, and then I want you to draw a 10 by 10. So let's say the room I'm in right now is like 10 by 10. And I said, I want you to take the GPR, it looks like a lawnmower, and you go up and down and up and down, and you'll get a reaction on the ground penetrating radar. And they did get a reaction, and they dug it up. They went 2 feet, and they found a hood of a car. And they called me very depressed or down, or, very, very down. And they go, Ginette,
oh boy, we only got 1 minute left of the show, so I know you found it.
I found treasure. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
They dug it up, and it was a 1930s hood, and underneath 2 more feet was over 60 bars of silver.
Wow. Now that's a happy ending.
That's a happy ending.
We let the people know where they can get a hold of you, Ginette.
Yeah,
sure. I'm in Virginia, 571-358-1444. Virginia, 571-358-1444. And call when you want. Just yeah. And
website?
My website is Reach Ginette, REACH Ginette, GINETTE.com. REACH Ginette, GINETTE.com. And there we are.
Thank you so much, Ginette.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Really great stuff. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Broadcast Team Alpha. Broadcast Team Alpha. Hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. Every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. The balance of power is shifting to a new paradigm. Will you be ready? For more information on Broadcast Team Alpha, as well as the hosts, Nori Love and Augie Nost, please visit their website at broadcastteamalpha.com. Until next week, remember to keep those minds open while always exploring the endless quantum possibilities. Broadcast Team Alpha, over and out.
This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.
Wait, that doesn't exist.
This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.